Welcome to Working Help Desk. My name is Arvin. Today we have an exciting video. We're going to talk about migration from Windows 7 to Windows 10 or just migration of operating systems in general. And I'm talking about in an enterprise environment, how that looks like. I'm going to explain to you how that works step by step and how you can do it in bulk, meaning you can do a lot of computers at once. The next part of it is going to be about a printer that has an issue with port settings. That's going to be an exciting one. We're definitely going to talk about that. Then we have an issue with a website that gives you certificate error, meaning it's a security certificate error. So there's going to be a little bit of an insight of a web developer point of view, which is really good for somebody who's trying to get into IT and wants to learn more about IT. This definitely helps somebody who's going to do help desk for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Irvin, also known as Kobu Man. Welcome to another session of Working Help Desk. We're going to work some help desk tickets as usual. Let's see how many we have. While we do that, please take a moment in the comments below to just say hello, hi, or present. That tells me that people are still interested in watching these type of videos, so I can keep making them. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's a huge motivation for me. Now, in case you haven't noticed, if you've been watching my videos for a while now, is that I do segment in the timeline each thing that I talk about, so each topic that I talk about. But also, which I haven't been telling people yet, is that I have a second channel on which those segmented issues are made into separate videos. The point of that is to have a second place where you can literally perform a search on my channel for a topic of some sort. For example, let's say you're looking for VPN and some kind of specific issues. Chances are on my second channel, which I will link right now, you can just go there and do a search, and you will eventually see a video with a possible solution for that. So if you're doing help desk or wanting to do help desk, you can just refer to my channel if you want to see if I have a solution for that, especially if you like the way I teach. So it's going to take a while for me to fill that up, but that's what I'm doing with all the videos that I'm making. So if I have 5 topics in this video, I'm going to make separate videos for each one of those topics, meaning that I'm going to separate them out, and it's going to be all on that second channel. So if you can go over there, and if you're interested, please subscribe. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. All right. We got a notification. We have a couple of tickets we need to follow up real quickly. Okay, so this is from Julie Chan. Okay, she's just said thank you for the response. Regards. My pleasure. We're going to see what that was about, but I know I had a ticket on that. We're going to go a little bit faster because after all, this is a 21st video in the series. So we're going to go through and do as many tickets as possible to keep this going, because we do have 20 tickets that haven't been resolved yet. Since we got a response from Julie, we're going to check this out to see what this was about. We waited for a response for a possible resolution. This was about a network issue that we talked about, and I suggested that if somebody can't ping a website and there is no reply, I gave multiple solutions to that. Definitely something good to think about, and it's in the previous video, so if you haven't checked that out, I'll post a link that will pop up right now on top right hand corner, so you might want to watch that as well if you want to see what this is about. She did respond, and she just said thanks for the response. All right, and for those reasons, we're going to close the ticket. Again, if you're working help desk, make sure you follow up multiple times and make sure that the issues are resolved before you close any tickets. I'm just closing them because this was more of a advice type of thing. All right, let's see. We got a ticket here from the previous video about the email not updated in Outlook. It was from Jean Amé, and I was waiting for a response, but the solution was, I have your ticket about Outlook not working. Please make sure the configuration for Outlook are set up correctly. And so yeah, it's either Outlook, either you're not connecting to the servers, whether it's SMTP or POP3, or you simply have the wrong credentials, or something's not replicating on your computer where it's not reflecting your credentials. Again, this was also in the previous video, so for those reasons I'm going to close this ticket so we can just keep moving. Again, never close tickets until they're actually resolved, but since these are tickets from the viewers, which by the way, if you want to submit tickets, you can certainly do so as well. I have a link, and if you're interested, let me know and I'll link it to you. Okay, moving on. This one was from William Matthews. This was about urgent, all files disappeared. I made an extensive explanation of what could be the cause of this and how you can possibly recover any deleted data. It's usually related to local profile, and that's exactly what I talked about here. If you're suddenly missing icons and configuration settings, this and that on your computer, chances are your local profile is broken, or you are at a different computer where it doesn't have your profile or your documents. All right, we didn't get any response, so we're going to close the ticket just so we can keep moving. And I hate to repeat myself all the time, because I'm sure you guys heard me say this plenty of times, but you want to at least follow up once or twice before you close any of these tickets. Very important. All right, and the fourth ticket that we were waiting for a response was about the computer that was getting hot and turned itself off. And my suggestions were open the computer and clean the dust. Computers can get dirty and they can cause overheating. One thing that I haven't mentioned in the previous video is that actually if you overclock your computer, you can also get overheating where computer would shut down to protect itself. And I also said check to see if you have a virus. Virus, if it's running in the background, it can cause overheating by using your CPU a lot. So your computer will suddenly, have to cool off because it's working so hard. And then I also said to check CPU heatsink to make sure it's attached. I've seen a CPU heatsink that wasn't attached before, and also possibly change thermal paste. And I said, please let me know if that helps. Didn't get any response, which is okay. We're just going to keep moving. All right, now we're going to work some new tickets. And first ticket here, we're just going to go from, let's see, unassigned. Okay, here we go. Migration from Windows 7 to Windows 10. I'm going to assign ticket to myself. It's from MD Alum. Thank you. You've submitted a lot of tickets for me. I really appreciate it. It gives us a lot more to talk about, and this is definitely a new one. Which is the common migration from Windows 7 to Windows 10 in a business environment? Please tell A to Z step by step, which is going to help many people. Oh, my pleasure. Okay, so I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to go to a reply to customer here, so that way we can get a reply right away. We can keep it going, and I'm going to say below are some things that can be done to migrate from old OS to new. So whether it's whatever the OS is, right? In this case, it's Windows 7 to Windows 10 in a business environment. So number one, usually you'd do this over the network. So you would schedule these processes to happen over the network, meaning basically you just have a web page, and then within that web page, you can schedule many computers and many things to start to reimage, or to what it's called reload. That's what it's called in at the work that where I'm at, and it's called reload. What that does would it would reinstall the operating system, but it would also give you an option to make sure that all local profile data is saved. Very important. If you just do Windows install, a clean install, it's going to erase everything. But if you do Windows reload in a business environment, it's going to give you an option to keep those profiles. You can select which profiles to keep, literally. It's really cool. Now, that's the best way of going about it. Now, if you're doing this yourself and you're upgrading, for example, in this case, Windows 7 to Windows 10, you will get an option to update to Windows 10 rather than do a clean install, which should also keep your local profiles, local documents, and this and that. So only specifically that. It's not going to attempt to keep anything else, maybe some configuration date, but that's the safe bet. So in case you didn't know, local profile is in your local C under users. So in my case, I'm logged in as Kobuman right now, and that's what I use in my profile: documents, favorites, downloads. Any files that are saved inside of that are going to stay over. So you can do a reload. Of the computer, which is also done when there are issues with the operating system. So if it's already Windows 10, you can still do a reload, which will reinstall and keep. So this is a system that allows you to do that. Now it's going to be different in different environments. This is what happens in a big corporate environment that I work in right now, and I'm going to say which is going to keep any data from local profile. So that's one option. Let me see if I can think of other options, which is the common migration from Windows 7 to Windows 10 business environment. Please tell A to Z step by step. Now, Windows 7 actually has a tool that you can utilize. It's called profile migration. That's exactly what it lets you do. You can actually merge your or move your profile from the old computer to a new one. So that's an option if you have a second computer that you want to, and this is basically done manually. Windows 10 doesn't have that tool, I don't think, but you can basically, what happens on Windows 7 machine, you open it up, you tell it, hey, I want to migrate my profile to Windows 10, and it will save that data, and then later on, it will allow you to connect and transfer that data over the network to the new computer. So you can transfer that profile like that. I'm sorry, I don't have Windows 7 installed because it's just an old OS that I haven't used in many years now. And so that's another option, but let me see. We'll just kind of go over this, which is common migration from Windows 7 to Windows Business. Okay. So the other ways is, I guess I started listing what you could do. So I'm just going to leave it at that, but I will explain kind of what it looks like. I'm going to say, and I know he will watch this, my video on steps. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. So what happens in my environment, you know, I go to this web page that lets me basically get access to all of these computers that are connected to that network. With this information, or this web page, I need to get information on all of those computers. So let me just do a notepad here real quick. And we're going to do a pretend step by step, just like as requested, right? So we're going to have a bunch of computers. We're going to have a computer with a host name that's called computer 1. And then we're going to have another one, computer 2. Then we're going to have a computer 3. Computer 3. And etc, meaning etc, etc, etc. You can have, I don't know what the limit is. I want to say 100. Let's say 100. So you can take these computer host names or computer names, also known as workstation names, that are already assigned and assigned to those computers, and you can literally access them like this. Copy, and then you go to the website, and then you pull them up, and you can see all of these computers that are connected to the network. They have to be connected to the network because you have to be able to ping them. And then you can see what their status is. From there, you can individually schedule them if you want, this and that. Now, you can also do this with serial numbers. So you can say serial 1, serial 2, serial 3. And etc, right? So you can do this with serial numbers only. Network will see these systems that are designed for this, to do this in a massive amount, will see this. They will be able to find serial numbers of computers that are connected to the network. And from there, you can do the same thing, just like as I explained previously. You can schedule these computers to start to re-image. So where is this data coming from? Usually, network itself will have a individual and randomly placed computers that are already on network. So let's say you have cubicles. Let me see if I have something to write with. Paint? Is it Paint? Yeah. I hardly ever use Paint, but that's okay. So where is the information coming from when it comes to the data for the operating system? And where is it downloaded? It's not like it's all downloaded. Whenever I schedule any of these computers to start installing the operating system, it's not like it's pulling the data for the operating system or anything else, or for backups. It's not pulling it up from a server that's specifically designed for that. There might be one or two there, but what's actually happening is that on the network there are, let's say these are cubicles, right? These are cubicles in an office, right? Sorry, I'm terrible at writing here or drawing here, and I'm doing it with the mouse, so it's really hard. And each has a PC, right? Each of these cubicles has a PC, and I'm gonna call it, can I draw this properly? PC 2, PC 3, and I'm just gonna say this 4 and 5, right? All of these cubicles, all these desks have a computer on them. So if I wanted to reimage one right here or reload, it doesn't necessarily have to go to a server somewhere. It doesn't have to go God knows where on server and get this information. It doesn't have to. It can actually get this information from number 3 or number 5, because these computers have this information stored locally on the same network. You see that? For faster access. And that's what's happening here. And you can also use these computers as backups of the profiles that we talked about. So remember, when we do a reload, we can do a profile. When we do a reload on the computer, we can keep that profile, and that profile is actually backed up on any of these computers. It's a random computer. Here, sorry, my drawing is terrible here. Here. These can have profiles, right? These can have profiles stored on them for faster access. So that's what's happening in the background. Now, you can actually do a bulk install. So you can, if you have host names already, so you get host names from the domain that you're going to name these computers, because you got to have them host names. And this is when it's brand new computers. What the scenario what I talked about here, if they're already existing on the network. They're already on the network in the sense that they already are in production. But if they're brand new computers, you can literally do something like this. You get the host names, computer 1, comma, computer 2, comma, and then depending on the system I use, I can literally just use these computer host names for these specific serial numbers. So even if it's a brand new computer that has never been assigned a host name, you can assign these host names automatically to these specific serial numbers, which will at the same time will install the operating system. So you got computer, so you're telling the system, take computer 1, computer 2, computer 3. These are the host names, and I want you to use these host names on these computers that have serial numbers, this and that. And they also need to be connected to the network, obviously. So it's going to reimage them, and it's going to target these serial numbers, and these serial numbers is going to target them, and it's going to give them these host names, and also reinstall OS on them, or install, reload, or whatever it is that you're doing, update, and etc. I hope that's a good insight. I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm going to mark it resolved. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 missing things that you need to do in here, but that's the gist of it, and that's how it goes. Outlook issue. I've talked about Outlook issue in the last video, so I'm going to skip over that one for now. I'm going to come back to it on the next video probably. Printer can't connect. Let's try that one. Normally you don't want to skip any tickets when you're working in the system. You always want to work the eldest ones, unless there is a priority ticket in there, which is like something that's affecting multiple people, multiple users. I'm just doing this because I already talked about Outlook. Printer can't connect from Cisco. Thank you, Cisco. I am unable to print. Oh, I'm sorry. I am unable to ping the printer's IP address and can access the web portal through the browser. I am able to ping the printer's IP address and can access the web portal through the browser. But I can't install it on any PC. I have tried to add it using device installation software and also Windows Wizard software. I have restarted the printer. Still the same. Any suggestions? So you're able to see it on the network. So you're able to ping it. So that's good. and can access the web portal through a browser. I'm assuming this is the portal that controls the printer settings, but can't install it to any PC. I have tried to add using the device installation software. So use the software that came with the printer and also Windows Wizard software. That is really, really weird one because you pretty much tried all the things you can do, but yet you can't do it. It still can't install. I'm curious to see what the error is, or just nothing happens. Let me think here. What else would I try? Well, you pinged it. You can see it. And I'm assuming you gave it a static IP address if you have access to this web portal. So it's important that you give it a static IP address that can accept connections on the printer ports. I forget what the printer ports are, but make sure that those are open and that they are not blocked by firewall. Just because you can ping the IP address doesn't mean that the print ports are not network print ports. Okay, so port 80 for HTTP. Okay, here it is. Here's something that might help you. Here's a article from IBM. Let's look at this real quick. Guys, it's okay to, if you tried many things and you still can't come up with a solution, it's okay to use the internet. That's what the internet is for. It's a highway, information a highway or whatever, right? Highway information, is that the correct? I don't know. It's there to be used. So make sure that the correct ports are open. Okay, remote output queue. So remote output queues always use port 515 when communicating with TCP/IP printers, right? So, but it depends on the printer. And here are some common print ports that are listed here. Now, you can look up this article yourself and just do the same search as I did and kind of read on this. But what I would actually suggest that you do is look at the manual for that printer and look at the ports and make sure that that's set up correctly inside of the web portal, that this is all configured and turned on. Just because you can ping the IP address doesn't mean that you can print if the ports are not open. And of course, check with your network admin that these ports are not blocked through the firewall. Also, group policy can be blocking these. A lot of businesses actually prevent printers from being used, and they can use group policy to actually block these printer ports. Of course, check to see, well, check to see if the print spooler is turned on, but you wouldn't be able to go through the Windows wizard, if you will, to add it. So that wouldn't even be working. So I would check the ports. I would definitely look at the ports to see if this is the issue here. Either that or somehow the printer itself is not recognized as a printer. I wish I had more hands-on to this because this is a very interesting one, because you tried pretty much all the other basic troubleshooting. You ping the IP address. Again, make sure it's a static IP address. You have access to web portal. Check the settings inside the web portal to see if everything's turned on properly, because it could be just some kind of thing that you forgot to set up. And you've tried to add using the device installation software, so you have admin privileges if you have the ability to install software. And you also tried the Windows Wizard. The only thing I can think of right now is that the ports are being blocked somehow, either through group policy, or which group policy makes changes on your local firewall. But check on these things. Check whoever you have access to when it comes to other support people. Ask them if printers are being blocked. So if you have to reach out to system admins that have access to the domain, then reach out to them and ask them about printers, if there's any issues when it comes to printers over the network, printing over the network, or if the firewall team or network team has somehow blocked the printing over the network. Because again, I've seen this happen in some business environment where they don't want people to print. So check on those things. I'm going to reply and say, please check on port settings and to make sure they are not blocked by firewall. Also, double check printer settings. For example, static, IP, and port settings. Yeah, let me know. I'm going to keep this open. Let me know. I'm really curious about this one. Yeah, guys, you will come across issues where you just kind of like, you know, you don't know what the issue is until you have hands-on to see what's going on. Normally, and well, I guess you know, he can also try at a different computer, but you know, if it's just specific to your computer, it could be just that you are blocked from using it. Now, it goes without saying, if you're on a VPN, it's not going to work. So if you happen to be working from home and, well, you can add it. I suppose you could still add it because you connect to the network, but it's not going to work anyways. But yeah, you said you're not able to add it, which means to me that you can't reach it. There's no connection. And I have a feeling it has something to do with ports and some kind of configuration issue at the printer level rather than anything else. It can't really be anything else. Just because you can see it and you can ping the IP address doesn't mean that you can install it unless you have a good connection to it. I hope that helps. Let me know. Okay, here's a ticket from Javier, and it's about Outlook. Oh man, I get a lot of Outlook tickets, and so I know I was gonna say I'm gonna pass on the Outlook one, and for those reasons, Javier, I'm gonna move to your second ticket that you put in. So I'm gonna hit these on the next video, these Outlook issues. Again, guys, I've done a lot of Outlook. I've talked about Outlook a lot, so I'm just taking a break from that to kind of have different topics in the videos for the sake of diversity. But it's okay. Javier put in multiple tickets, so he's not going to get mad at me for skipping this one for now. For now, again, we're going to come back to it. Network scanner, but that's kind of here we go. Let's do this one. Let's do this third one from Javier. This network scanner is kind of the same deal with the printer, but probably I haven't read it yet, but it's okay. Ooh, we got screenshots. I love screenshots. All right, from Javier P. Thank you, Javier, for submitting these tickets. The site can't provide a secure connection. Secure connection failed. Chrome Firefox error. So it's an error that we get when we go to a certain website. Hi, Cobbleman. I'm having an issue when I try to access VPN portal via IP address on Google Chrome or Firefox. Well, first of all, you should be using the web browser, or the not the web browser. I'm sorry, the website name, I should say, or domain name instead of the IP address. If you have to use an IP address for some reason, then there's an issue with DNS, which is another issue. The error I receive is the following on both web browsers, Google Chrome and Firefox. This site can't provide a secure connection. IP address uses an unsupported protocol. Error SSL version of cipher mismatch. Okay, so right now this tells me that there is an issue with the certificate, the security certificate for the website. On Firefox, the error says secure connection failed. Error during connection. Okay, we'll check these screenshots out. Any suggestions, please? Yeah, absolutely. We'll take a look. Love the screenshots. Love the screenshots. All right, here we go. So secure, okay. SSL version. This site can't provide a secure connection. And what you looks like what you brought in or what you kind of scratched out is the IP address of it, which is fine. Thank you for doing that. Unsupported protocol. So this usually happens when, just speaking as a web developer of some sort, right? I have a website that I've created and I've seen this issue when a web page's front end is broken. Now, this could also mean that the security certificate is expired, and I'll show you examples. I'm just looking at the second screenshot here. Secure connection failed. Using unsupported version of security protocol. Okay. So it's kind of the same deal, it's just a different browser. So as a web dev, here, let me show you something here. As an amateur web dev, and you don't need to be a professional to figure this out. As an amateur web dev, this is some basic knowledge that you should know as a help desk if you want to be a pro help desk guy. So let me show you this. I'm going to ping my own website, cosmicnovo.com. So here's the IP address for that, and it comes up here. So I'm going to take it, and I'm going to copy it. This is my own website, and I'm going to open up a new page. And what I'm going to do is go to cosmicnovo.com first. So instead of using the IP address, I'm doing what you're supposed to be using on a website that's supposed to be working properly. You just use a domain name, which is also known as host name. You should not be using an IP address to reach a front end of a website. If you are using it, that means that there's something wrong with the front end of your website, meaning this here, what you're looking at right here, this is the front of it. That means there's a configuration issue there. So, but if I go open up a new tab and just type in the IP address, this is what you get. You see that? So you should either be using the correct host name or the domain name. In my case, it's cosmicnovo.com. Or if you're constantly using the IP address, this is what you're getting, right? So if you look at this now there's suddenly an issue with security certificate, right? And here it is, net error cert authority invalid. Now let's see what your error is in comparison. I think it's something similar. See, yours says SSL version or cipher mismatch, and that's for one of the browsers. The other browser is going to give something else. And here it says SSL error unsupported version. Okay. Now I can proceed here if I select advanced and I select continue to blah blah blah, but you can see here that it says unsafe because you're not supposed to be using this website or any website just by using the IP address. There's really no need. You should be using a domain name, in my case cosmicnovo.com, because you need a functioning DNS to do this. Now if you cannot, so let me just click here, continue, you see that, and it's going to go to the website. It's going to work fine, except I'm going to have this glaring error that the HTTPS is not working, meaning that the encryption, any data that you send to this website and any data that you receive is now not encrypted because I'm using the wrong version of the website. But if I go back to using a regular version of the website, you can see that it's completely secure. Connection is secure because I'm using it correctly. And this is why this is a configuration issue on the website itself. So you need to fix the front end or start using regular website names. So you should not be using an IP address just like I did here, because you get those type of errors, right? That's pretty much all I have to say about that. So if you have access to this, or if you know the web admin, then make sure you reach out to them and show them the screenshots. Now I've seen, and this is really bad, I've seen some web developers don't care, like especially if it's on a local network, which is not right. I would not. I mean, what can you say about that? They need to fix it. But if they're not fixing it, then I would bring it up to their manager if it's an issue. Now you can go to a website like that and maybe fine if you're just browsing, and you still may get this certificate error. Let me just kind of go back to it. You still may get this security error or something similar. Well, mine already I already told it that it's okay to go here. But if you get these, you may have a certificate that's expired, because it could be like a self-signed, self-created or self-signed certificate. It means it's not approved by a third party. In this case, it could still be encrypted, except the website is not, the security for the website security certificate is not verified by a third party. You know, that could still be the case, but I have a feeling your issue is that the front end is broken and you're not using a regular website name, domain name. for accessing this website. It's a great ticket. Thank you for submitting it. I'm sorry that you're having this issue because it's a bad issue, but it is what it is. You may be able to proceed with it, but you know, it's definitely a security issue with the certificate itself. I'm going to say this issue is related to web sites certificate or the front end of the website needs to be fixed. Please see my video for details. Comes out on Sunday. Unless you are a member, unless you join, then you get early access, which is on Saturday. By the way, thank you very much to all the people that became members. I'm going to close it because I don't have access to this directly. And I don't really need to wait for a response. If you want to respond to me, Javier, on this, you certainly can. I'll still get a notification even when I close the ticket. So I'll get a little pop-up. But I'm going to close it because I don't have access to it. If you are a system admin or web admin, of course, you would look into these issues as help desk. This is just really good to know, and how websites function, because you will, get an issue sometimes, sometimes like this. All right, we've done a ticket from Javier, and we're going to skip over to Kenneth Butler. Thank you, Kenneth, for submitting this ticket. Appreciate it. Cannot download Microsoft Edge or Chrome. Oh, since downloading Server 2016 on my Windows 10, I cannot download Microsoft Edge or Chrome. Now, do you mean you're logged into Windows Server? Because Windows Server will have all these things disabled. Even, I think I've seen it even IE being disabled. So, for those reasons, there will be a lot of restriction on the server itself, where you are not allowed to install any of this stuff, simply as that. But I mean, I don't know what you mean. Since downloading Server 2006 on my Windows 10, I don't know what you mean downloading. Did you download the ISO, the image of Windows Server 2060? Because I know you can get those as like a trial, and then you can have like 90 days to try it out, to experiment with. And did you install it on a virtual machine, or did you install it as a dual boot, where you have Windows 10 and Windows Server as a boot option on your computer? I'm not sure what you mean. I do know that Server 2016 will have lots of restrictions on once you install, where the purpose of that is because you want the server to be secure as possible. You don't want to allow anybody who might have access to it somehow to install things that you don't want a server that might infect a lot of people. Going to, yeah, I mean, you say here I can't download Microsoft Edge or Chrome. Do you mean install? I mean, that's what I'm getting. I think you're using downloading and installing maybe in exchange. So, I mean, it's different to download and it's different to install something. So, since downloading, I'm assuming I'm very confused about this. So I'm gonna wait for you to actually give me a response on what exactly is going on. If you have any screenshots, I would love to see that. I'm going to say I simply don't have enough information because I'm confused here to what the issue is. But I do know that once you install a server on on any computer, that there will be a lot of restrictions on there for the purpose of security, because you don't want random things to be installed on the server. All right, so please provide an example of what the issue. Well, I mean, I know you said it, but I'm confused. What do you mean? Do you mean install or download? Please provide an example of what the issue is. Do you mean install of Chrome or Edge. Is this on the server computer? What is your setup? If you have a screenshot, that would be great. Now, notice I usually, if I haven't talked to somebody before, I don't think I've talked to Kenneth before at all, but you won't introduce yourself. Hello, this is Irvin, or, you know, whatever your name is. This and that, may I take control of your computer, blah, blah, blah. That's the typical help desk thing, but this is very specific. And again, I said I was going to go a little bit faster here because we have a lot of tickets to work. So I'm going to keep this open as well. We're going to have to follow up on that. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for the quick interrupt. So I'm actually recording this part of it after I recorded the rest of the video, but I wanted to kind of add this that I saw some notifications here that people responded to some of the things I was working here, and I really like to have these in real time. So we're going to continue the video here just shortly, but I do want to show you that we got some responses from the tickets that we worked. So let's check it out. All right. We've got a response from Kenneth Butler, and this is the one we talked about where it was related to that server 2016 and Windows 10 where he cannot download Microsoft Edge or Chrome. And the response is, I figured it out. I am now looking at your Office 365 videos. So that is awesome. I'm just going to reply real quick. I'm going to say that is awesome. Thanks for the response. All right. Nice. So we can close that ticket here. All right, let's see what the other response was. Here, okay, cool. This is from Cisco. Let's check this out. He says, this is the one about printer connecting. I remember I suggested to check on port settings to make sure they're not blocked by firewall. And he responded as he said, thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. My pleasure. Oh, awesome. Okay, so he says, I fixed it. Needed to select the port number. Yes. Yes, I was right. All right, cool. Cool, cool. I am so glad that this happened. Thanks again for submitting this ticket to both of you. And then we got one more that I saw from William Matthews. Now, this is from the previous ticket that we followed up earlier. And this was related to when I said that profile issue, local profile. And sure enough, looks like he responded here. It says, thank you. I was logged under the wrong profile. So yeah, I knew there was something wrong with the profile. So he was just logged in under the wrong profile. That is awesome. I'm just going to say, my pleasure. Take care. That is awesome. I love to see these type of tickets. Do I need to close the one from Cisco? No, it was already closed. Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to get back to the tickets that was continuing to work. That is awesome. I just wanted to show that. Sorry if I interrupt, but I felt like if I was to talk about this now, it would be directly related. Okay, now I'm going to continue with the other one. Wow, we have a lots of Outlook issues. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to make a next video all about Outlook. We're going to target all of these until I pass out just talking about Outlook. Okay. All right. All right. I'm going to leave it at that for now. How many? We have 14 tickets. Yeah, I'm going to leave it at that for now. Again, guys, please subscribe to my other channel to kind of get it going so we can get to maybe 1,000 subscribers. That would be great. Again, that's going to be a great place for you to just do a quick search for possible solutions in your job, whether it's help desk, tech support, on-site, or whatever else that you do. I plan to make that YouTube channel as basically encyclopedia or a knowledge base where you can find the solutions to pretty much everything eventually, right? Eventually. All right. Thank you so much for watching. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Best wishes to you and your family. And yeah, that's it. Take care. Bye-bye.